Alright guys, so today we are playing another free game from Itch.io. It is called May I Take Your Order. This one is slightly different because it is a short visual novel. It is supposedly funny, with some horror, but it's also romantic. Okay, so we're gonna check it out. Alright, I've been filling out a few applications today, and this is the last one. I've been applying to work at restaurants all over. It might not seem glamorous, but I want to see how different places are run. If I want to open my own restaurant someday, it's crucial to see what does and doesn't work. A friend told me I should save my top pick for last, and I should really kick him for that. My hands are about to fall off. It's a pretty ritzy establishment, but comfortable. Fancy, but not overpriced. Important clientele, but still kind of inclusive. If you can't make connections here, you're dead. Financially speaking. And the food? Remarkable. I've never heard of anyone ever having a bad meal there. I gotta know how they accomplish so much. So I try not to be too nervous and fill this out like it's any other application. My first name is... Senpai Fire. There we go, Senpai Fire. I fill in my address and try not to despair over my handwriting before getting to the personal section. Gender is... female. And I finish filling out the form. I cap the pen and lean back in my chair. Man, it's nice to be done. Well, except for heading outside and turning them all in, one at a time. Better get to it. 2 weeks later, and I'm waist deep in my first Saturday shift at the restaurant. Oh, so you got the job at the expensive one? But busy doesn't even begin to describe it. After 7 hours of the weekend rush, I'm ready to go home. I stop off at table 6 and go through the motions. Thank you for dining with us, sir. My name is Senpai Fire, and I'll be your server this evening. He smiles at me. Pleasure to meet you, Miss Senpai Fire. Have you dined with us before, sir? Yes, indeed. I'm quite happy to be back. Just you this evening, sir? No, my girlfriend will be here shortly. I'll just have a cup of coffee while I wait for her. I'll go get that for you right away then. No rush. Countless families and couples have come and gone today, but for the past hour, that one guy's been clogging up table 6. Are you doing all right, sir? He checks his watch again. Yes, I mistook the time. She'll be here any second. He's been saying that for the past 45 minutes. Oh. I'd tell him to pack it up and leave, but he doesn't have the look I'd expect of someone in his position. There's anxiety, but only a little bit, and there's no disappointment. Not a shred of doubt in his eyes. He really thinks... Excuse me. He looks up at me. It seems he's come to some sort of a decision. Thank goodness. But this is a restaurant with crayons, right? Yes, sir. We have those for kids. Excellent. A sting of ferocity enters his eyes, one that doesn't quite pair naturally with crayons. One, please, and red if you've got it. Yeah, sure. I'm not about to argue with the customer, so I head to the front. It's not exactly usual, but the guy's been sitting here for half an hour with no phone. I'm caught between pity and irritation, and hope for the upteenth time. That he has enough empathy to tip well on the single cup of coffee he's been nursing. Oh, I mean, if you're gonna be there for that long, at least, like, I don't know, order something else. There's a small tin with several crayons. We try to keep fresh ones ready. I grab a red crayon. I snatch up a red crayon. No sense being mean to him. He may be weird, but he's probably having a bad night, too. I bring the crayon back over to him and hand it over. Thank you, Miss Senpai Fire. It's no big deal. Hey, are you okay? I saw you don't have a cell phone, but we could call your girlfriend and... No warning, no nothing. He knocks everything off the table and climbs right on. What? Sir? Please get down. His deft hand scrawls a wide circle, then another, then sections off areas, slicing as though the crayon were a knife. He fills it with symbols. They look almost like zodiac signs. I'm not saying all that, because that could be actually something. Except for this last word, which is definitely a cuss word. It's like I stood up too fast. There's a rushing to my head. There's a pressure, like my ears are going to pop. Oh, the tablecloth rips and there's a spray of sweet-smelling fluid. I leap away from the table as something bursts out. Wet, spiked appendages are flailing all over, slapping and snaking their way over the windows and doors. They're fleshy but soft, too soft, and they mush and disfigure as they slam against everything in sight. One smacks the hat off another diner, who continues to eat her meal, unfazed. Nobody is screaming, and nobody notices me on the ground, arms raised to protect my face and throat too tight to scream again. What the fuck? But that's okay. That thing is screaming enough for the entire restaurant. It's letting out a dual-toned screech, high and low, but I can't discern one throat, let alone two. Crayon thrown to the floor, the stood-up guy in worst diner ever starts to call out at it. Sweetie! For goodness sake, put your body on. We're in a nice restaurant. What the fuck? It screeches and roars back at him. I know, but... He waves a bundle of cloth at it. I brought you some clothing, and it's super comfy. It slurps up the bundle of fabric, and the creature bubbles and draws back in on itself, twisting until... I emerge! You're here! You had me worried, so I figured I'd help break the barrier down a bit. Teleporia? You have no idea how good it is to see you. When he says that word, my ears finally pop and my teeth grit. It's a bad word. It's not a curse word per se, not so much a word you wouldn't say in front of your boss. It feels like the wrong answer in a classroom or a meeting. The moment when everyone turns and looks at you. And you just want to sink through the floor. I just want to sink through the floor. I want to very quietly go get my coat and change my name and move to whatever town is on the exact opposite point of the globe from where I'm currently standing. You informed me that the barrier was to be frail in this portion of your world. I will hold you responsible for the trouble. He's beaming at the thing that came out of the hole, but I can't look at it. It hurts to roll my eyeballs toward it, like I'm dehydrated. When I close my eyes, the dark behind my eyelids is so cool and so soft. Huh. There are tears running down my cheeks. I hadn't noticed. The guy, Hendrik, beams and gestures toward the gaggle of eyes and puffy wool. This is my girlfriend, Teleporia. Impudent microbe. I may choose to craft for myself the form of a creator, a birthing one, but I am capable of far greater creations than your prepubescent females. And far more erroneously, your inflated ego thinks I would deign to refer to you as any form of companion. Her words wash over him like a gentle breeze. It looks like she could rip his face off, but her roars just make his eyes burn with joy. We've been dating for about 400 years now, and though the long-distance thing is an eensy bit of an annoyance, we make it work. The moment I finally devise an effective method of accomplishing your demise, I will rip your soul from your ever-regenerating body and chew it to a gruel. He sits down at the all-but-destroyed table and picks up his menu. But until that beautiful day, when I can be with you forever, you're going to need to eat something else. Teleporia stops. She looks at me, and I bounce between eyes, trying to make contact with one that doesn't stare down into my deepest inadequacies. There is human fuel here? I nod. Her mouth breaks open into a smile. Excellent. You are spared from punishment, Hendrik, if only for the moment. She sits down, but not on a chair. Dozens of her tentacles are still present throughout the entire room, spikes driven deep into the surfaces, blocking all the exits. She settles into one of the squishy appendages, looking pleased. So then, maybe we should order an appetizer? It's not that I can't believe this is happening. I have an open mind. But as far as sudden supernatural shifts to my life, I was really hoping for wizard school. Or just a plain old haunting. Some ghosts are pretty cool, right? I don't know about that. What kind of ghosts are we talking about here? Because, are we talking about, just fun ghosts? Or, ghosts that tear my whole house apart? Or curse my life? I mean, at least with a zombie or something, I know the rules here. What are the rules with this thing? Do I throw rice on the ground to stall her? Will she attack me if I touch her with iron? I'd listen to my gut, but I can't make out anything but general foreboding. Demon? You summons demons? So that fits. But I don't know. Something doesn't seem quite right about that. Maybe she's a... excuse me. Oh, I can barely think, but I can at least fall back on one set of rules. I struggle to stutter out the rote reply. Would you like to start off with a soup or salad? The man grins and gives an eager nod. Could I please get the blue cheese salad, and for my sweetie, The Talaporia rolls her eyes and her teeth flash as she cuts in. Hendrik, I've been on enough of these sham dates to know that ordering for your companion is rude. His face falls. But it's been ages since you've eaten any food. You're chewing on the fork right now. She gives him the glare and slowly places the slightly bent cutlery back down on the table. Fine. But before he can say another word, she makes her move. I don't want your advice, though. I want the young human to choose for me. Oh, no. He sighs, annoyed. But he checks himself before looking at me. I think he knows that she's putting me on the spot. I can appreciate that he's trying to look out for me. I mean, I'd appreciate it more if he could have not summoned some kind of eldritch thing during an already busy Saturday shift. Or at all. I ease my throat open enough to squeak out. Let's give... What would she like? Tomato bisque, Caesar salad, or lamb chili? We're gonna go with lamb. This doesn't seem to mean much of anything to her. Great. And what would you like for your entree? She slams a fist down on the table. My stomach lurches. First, bring me the matter. This physical form requires fuel to sustain itself. I turn on my heel and fly out of there, an excuse to leave. If there are any kindly extra-dimensional beings looking down on me right now, I would like to take this opportunity to thank them. I rush into the kitchen. I wonder what the other two options would have given me. Back in the kitchen, everyone's still bustling about. Other servers are calling for their orders. The ambitious cooks are working. The slightly less ambitious cooks are cracking jokes with each other. They're as oblivious as the customers out front. I can see my manager discussing some menu changes with the head chef. Hey, does anyone else see what's going on out there? But nobody turns to look at me. Hey, I'm serious. What the hell's going on? Are they ignoring me? Do you expect me to just come back here and bring in this order like nothing's wrong? I take a sarcastic tone. Yeah, we got a blue cheese and chili for table 6, just another usual night, right? Without warning, a tray with the orders put down on the counter next to me. But other than that, there's no hint of a glance, no guilty looks. Hey! Nobody even flinches. Fine. Looks like I'm on my own. We can quick save. Oh, that's awesome. And did I tell you how lovely your eyes are this evening? From your ever-effusive sewer pipe of compliments springs something worthwhile. I made most of them myself, but the eye in the center of my head was my reference object. I couldn't even tell the difference. Your anatomy has gotten so much better since the last decade. It is easier when I have a fresh supply of study materials, so I suppose I can remain here long enough to consume some matter. Let no sentient being claim that I do not repay my debts. Well, that's just one of the perks of the job. Teachers can bring home knowledge. Cooks can bring home food. And surgeons can bring spare body parts back to their girlfriends. I can say with relative certainty that this isn't how it works. If I ever find out this man's last name, I am never going to his hospital. I serve Talaporia her chili, try not to get too close. Please be careful, it's very hot. Remember, sweetie, that too much heat can injure... Silence, meat garden. Oh, God. What the fuck? I know what to do with volatile heat sources. She flings the scalding liquid across the table and hits Hendrik square in the chest. Oh. He rushes out of the bathroom, face red from pain. We don't serve our soups at a heat that could do permanent damage, but that still has to hurt. She closes most of her eyes and inhales a deep breath, satisfied. When she speaks again, her rough voice has a tranquil tone. Clean it up, human. This is an establishment with standards. Standards, is it not? Well, it was, I mutter. The elegant charm might be a bit altered by the sudden presence of giant tentacles. She snuggles down into her seat. This is a gift for your owners. This is a sliver of my true form. Well, it's lovely. Sorry that you didn't like the chili. Apology unnecessary, human. I enjoyed that immensely. She sniffs the air. And it smells nice as well. She dabs a little of the meat on her neck. This body has concentrated blood flow around the throat and wrists. These pulse points heat and disperse stray molecules of matter, allowing humans to perceive them with their noses. She seems quite pleased with this luxury. She wraps a scarf around herself. Now that I think about it, the clothing Hendrik bought for her is all very heavy. A maxi skirt, a thick sweater, and a blanket scarf. The way you're clutching that scarf, are you cold? You may not have my scarf. It retains my heat. I will continue to generate and retain heat, and it will belong to me, not you. I take a step back. No, that's all your heat. Fair and square. She growls. Happily? Yes, all mine. Hendrik will be procuring more matter this evening, which will continue to power this form. Physical exertion is a luxury. The caloric energy necessary to move but a digit. She lifts one of her claws. is precious. I have gone for thousands of years, lying in wait for foolish summoners to tear open rifts and let in the good heat from your world. Teleporia leans down on the table. The edges of the scarf trail into her chili. Or at least what's left of it. Is it selfish to be happy that she's disarmed now? I look at the still present tentacles and recalculate that statement. She at least cannot harm me with soup. And that's something. So, human, how do you enjoy generating your own heat? When it gets cold, I can't bring myself to do much of anything, so I'll just turn up the thermostat. She slams a hand down. No! This is unacceptable. Lazy human. In the void, there is no heat. There are no suns off of which to leech like some creature that lives off of the blood of another. I don't think she knows that the verb correlates to an actual animal. You need to be more grateful. And Hendrik returns. Getting along well? As well as might be expected. Still, thank you for keeping her company. We'll eat our appetizers, and she shakes her head. I'm finished with mine. He laughs. Of course, how could I forget? So then, would you like to move on to the main course now? The next part of the meal? Ah, yes, with the larger portions. Hendrik points to her menu. So what were you thinking about? I always like steak, but I admit that I was kind of thinking about splurging on the, hey, human senpai fire. I snap to attention. Yes, ma'am? Choose. Do it promptly and wisely, or else I will need to consume something else for my main course. She's staring me right in the eyes, and her gaze lingers on my mouth. She stares at my teeth and licks her lips. Could she eat my teeth? Well, I think you would enjoy... let's do the live lobster. Hendrik gives a bit of a nod. That's my order too. It's been a while, but this is a special night. At what point did humans discover the joy of consuming live creatures? Wait, she doesn't think I'll serve it to her while it's still... No, sweetie, I'm afraid that most of us are still a touch prudish about that sort of thing. But they have a tank here, so the lobster is fresh. Pheh. Nothing is as fresh as squeezing the life from a creature with your jaws. Feeling it writhe and struggle in a fruitless attempt to stave off the icy curtain of death. She's looking straight at my throat. 2 lobster dinners coming right up. I rush away as quickly as I can. Try to convince the chef to let me serve 1 lobster live. I feel downright ghoulish, but between me and a crustacean, I'm going to defend myself every time. But her reaction is the same as last time. She prepares the dishes as usual and hands them off to me, never making eye contact or reacting to anything I say. What is this? She lifts up the extra utensil. It's a lobster cracker. You use that to crack open the shell. This is a fair idea, but it's such a waste. To use this on a deceased creature? Well, if food is dead, isn't it easier to consume? She waves a claw at me. Not if you have to crack it open anyway. Hendrik is already digging the meat out of his. I lick it. It's soothing to have a little tactile activity as part of your meal. Teleporia's claws slip on the lobster cracker. Meat shield. How are you employing your tool? Well, you put either end of the metal bit over, raise it up, and demonstrate. He holds the lobster cracker and one leg up, leaning forward so they're close enough for her to get a good look. She holds hers up, pantomiming his actions. Then promptly grabbing one of his hands, wrapping the cracker around his pointer finger and gripping it tightly. Oh. His finger juts out at an odd angle and blood drips onto the torn tablecloth. She cackles and throws the metal tool at his head. Fool, I can easily employ such a simple item. Okay. He's leaning away from his injured hand, the other on his face. Right you are. You got me. He sure does look embarrassed. It's really hard to tell through the pain. I mean, that is an expression of pain on his face, right? I guess she got him. He breathes heavily and trying to get himself under control. As though to prove a point, he goes right back to eating dinner. As though nothing were wrong. So before I go, is everything to your liking? Is the food, powering your true form enough? Silly senpai fire. When in my true form, I do not consume human fuel. This human template, my, what do you call it? Hendrik's caught mid-bite and he covers his mouth to respond. Human sona. My human sona, it consumes calories, inhales oxygen, excretes feces, all the same as you yourself, I assume. I never expected to have a restaurant patron ask if I breathe and poop, but here we are. But my true form requires something much more deeply sustaining. She stares me down. She looks at my teeth again. She looks me in the eye. She holds that eye contact and waits. I try not to squirm, but my moxie is inadequate for the situation. She waits. And then laughs. I can breathe again. Delicious. A light dusting of fear, nothing too overwhelming. If that doesn't strike her as much fear, please let me never ever learn what does. So you eat fear then? It falls under my purview. Suffering. Sweetie's true form eats concepts, and she builds her human sonas to have quite the taste for them too. Any form of important emotion can sustain her, but she's picky. I am not. Suffering is the only thing worth eating. Eating anything else would be beneath me. It's okay, whatever you eat. I love you just the way you are. And I would like you much better with several more stab wounds to the head. Anytime, sweetie. What am I playing? Oh, though I managed to sneak away for the next 15 minutes, I know that I'll eventually have to return. I try to strike up a conversation with the line cooks again. So how do you guys feel about the recent tentacle invasion? Of course, nobody responds. Yeah, it's hard to really put it into words, huh? No response. Dishes click. I guess the spooky atmosphere is a certain charm, but I don't think it'll catch on with the baby boomers. Conventional wisdom says that they like elegance or rustic charm, and Midwestern moms are not into dripping fluids. I mean, as a general group. I don't want to assume individual tastes. This gets boring quickly, so after the appropriate waiting period, I head back over. So thank you for dining with us tonight. I did it. I made it through the evening. I'm tempted to not even give them a check, to just rush them right out the door, but I refuse to slip up now. It's been a delight getting to know the both of you. How kind of you. You know, I was planning on heading out, but you know what? I couldn't care less if I attempted, and I am very powerful. I am capable of carrying far less than most humans could in their most apathetic dreams. Let's do dessert. Can you guys just leave? Oh, okay. I look from his smiling face to Talaporia's cruel one. I know how this goes. Let's make a recommendation. Okay, I recommend our chocolate torte for the delightful couple. Do you feel like drinking? I sure do. After dinner brandy? Fuck it. Caution to the wind. Bananas Foster flambe. Okay, that's gonna be on fire, right? It's gonna be on fire. I recommend our chocolate. Oh. God, man, poor dude. He's gotten chili thrown on him, his finger fucked up by lobster claws thingies, and I don't really want to set him on fire, but at the same time, it might make her happy. I don't want them drinking. She probably doesn't drink anyways, right? I mean, like, what does she do with brandy? Let's just do bananas. Is my professionalism slipping? Must be. What are we in? Sweetie, it's just a figure of speech. I don't have that function this time around. Oh, go back, go back, go back, go back, go back. Let's just do chocolate. Must remain professional. Everyone loves chocolate. Go with the safe option. Don't screw around when you're so close to the end of this. So close. Bring it on, Miss Senpai Fire. The torts here do better after a few hours setting up in the cooler, so they aren't made to order. Grab a couple and some spoons and return. Talaporia doesn't seem to be a fan, but at least she doesn't make a scene. Hendrik asks for the check, and I rush off and get it ready in record time. He takes the check. He seems to do a bit of calculation in his head, then lays down some cash. Well, this evening wasn't a complete waste of time and effort. Organ ravioli. Hendrik looks up at her. You may have one short, friendly embrace. He jumps to his feet, arms wide open to hug her, and one of her tentacles slams into him, throwing his body across the room. It slams into the wall and ragdolls to the ground. Hug transaction complete. Oh no, did you just kill him? She heaves a sigh. Would I were so lucky. No, human, I have merely rendered him unconscious. That's good. Via severe cranial hemorrhaging. That's bad. He'll sleep it off. I've ripped off his limbs before. He can take it. She looks almost fond. She gets up, walks over to him, and grabs him by the foot. I suppose it is time to return him to his residence. She perks up. Or I can abandon his body in a trash unit. Perhaps nobody will find him, and he will be placed inside a trash compactor. As she turns to drag him away, I ask, Miss Teleporia. She turns quizzical. Human, I am departing. You've made it through this evening unscathed. You have little to no ability to comprehend how fortunate that makes you. But I suggest you make an attempt. I clear my throat. I think I'm trapped. I just around at the restaurant. Oh, yes, I had forgotten. Your world usually has even more light, does it not? She shrugs. Well, I had no hand in this. And with that, she waves aside a tentacle and marches through the front door. Hendrik's head thuds against the ground as she walks down the staircase and out of sight. when I hear the front door close. Oh, thank God. Another server bumps me in the shoulder, stepping past. They give me a dirty look and keep heading their way. Just like that, I'm back. I get moving, clearing the table, scooping up the check. I check the tip. 40%. It might not cover emotional distress, but it'll cap off the shift. This was quite the experience, but for my own safety, I think I'm gonna skip the 2 weeks notice. I came here to learn something new, and I'd say that goal was more than accomplished. You just started working. How are you gonna quit now? Ending 4, a hug goodbye. There's multiple endings. Alright guys, so that was May I Take Your Order. From what I read, there are 5 different endings that you can get. We got ending number 4. I think we managed to get out of that pretty unscathed. You could probably fuck up a lot, I imagine, and get multiple different endings. So yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. It's cool. It's a lot of reading. It's not so bad if you're just playing it by yourself and not reading out loud all of the text. But yeah, it's still pretty cool. So if you liked it, leave a like down below. Maybe in the comments, let me know what you think about it. And I hope to see you guys next time that I play anything at all. Bye!